Hello Internet, it's Nega here, Muzu to my friends. I'm here with my tournament report for Sanctuary of Light. Sorry I didn't get this on the end of the last video. The camera only records 10 minutes at a time and I was running short on time, but after editing that last video only came to 8, which is kind of funny. Anyway, so my last locals, first round I faced off against Liberator Garmore, run by my homeboy. I must say that was a tough match and he wild called like a pro. I just barely managed to squeak it out with a crit in the end, but that's kind of what the deck does. Round 2, I was up against Blaus. This was actually a really tough matchup because of the pressure presented by Galaxy, and it was dumb. And I managed to maintain some pressure. We went to game 3, and honestly, being, full disclosure here, I should have lost. I legitimately should have lost. We're in game 3, coming down to it, I guard 2 pass, he gets a trigger, decides to go for it. And he hit it. Got 2 draw triggers on it, and hit. I take what's supposed to be my 6 damage, I get a 6 damage heal. He was salty. When I say salty, I mean saltier than the ocean. Saltier than Salt Lake City salty. Right? For my other, my friends who are local, it's saltier than Nick salty. Okay? He was so salty that I 6 damage healed. He didn't use Galaxy's effect to restand. Albeit I did burn through the rest of my hand guarding and then I killed him next turn. But yeah, my winning streak should have ended there. Not gonna lie, I mean, you guard 2 pass, your opponent gets 2 triggers, goes for it, what are you really gonna do there? You're looking at like a 10 to 20% chance of that happening every twin drive check. What you gonna do? Game 3, I went up against Chaos Breaker. I don't even know what to say there. Chaos Breaker, it was a completed Chaos Breaker deck being piloted by a good friend of mine who is arguably the best player at my shop. And my unlock unit's the only reason I didn't die. I was able to unlock effectively and maintain field presence and cut off his draw power. Combined with that and effectively using my quintet walls, I managed to shut him out. Game 4 was my first loss. I was up against Crit Minerva, being piloted by another individual who's up there, one of the best players at my shop, and I couldn't deal with the restander. Like, I'm sorry, but Crit Minerva is just, I don't want to say too strong, but it's powerful. Being able to check crits and restand, getting the twin drive, being able to reload soul with your own soul blasts. When that extra booster comes out, we all need to step our game up. Just saying. Went to game 3, couldn't squeak it out. I couldn't deal with the pressure. And no, actually, that one didn't go to game 3. That was 2 games. I got 2-0'd, and between 2 games, I checked a grand total of 5 triggers. But not salty, not trigger salty. Promise. Going into top, I was in 2nd place, and in top, my first match was against my friend who played Chaos Breaker. I fought him again. I don't even know. Sanctuary of Light is a difficult deck to play against because in order to use it properly, I have to eat a lot of damage really fast to give me counterblasts, and that puts me in the danger zone. Really easy, in the danger zone! Anyway, when I get in that zone, since most of my opponents are playing crit decks, they get this mentality of, I have to hit the Vanguard, I have to hit the Vanguard. 1 crit and I win, 1 crit and I win, 1 crit and I win. And it's really easy for me to block the Vanguard swings. Or I eat it, I heal, whatever. And then they don't mess with my field setup. As long as I'm not fighting Kagero or Narukami, I'm pretty much good at that point. My friend who was playing the Chaos Breaker figured out by game 3, going into game 3 of my first round in top, he figured out the secret. He figured out how to effectively render me helpless, not giving me counterblast so I couldn't unlock, and just beat me silly. He put me in the tri-lock. He did everything right. I was in a bad situation. And when he went for the push, on his Vanguard swing, he got a critical. Luckily, I'd guarded early, so it was only at 2 damage. But I took 2 damage. I damage checked 2 crits, threw it all on my Vanguard. My Vanguard was a 21k, which made blocking his other attacks simple. Following turn, I was in the tri-lock, and I didn't have brightness. I mean brightness this time. In my last video, I said brightness twice when I met Planetal, but that's a whole other story. Brightness is my unlock unit. I didn't have it. This is one of the times in which Ashley not being a Sanctuary of Light almost killed me. It should have killed me, because I had an Ashley. But there was no point in riding it. I swung, and when I was sitting on Planetal, so Planetal effect goes off, 13k swinging at his 11, he dropped to 10k. 2 pass. Crit. Yes, I double crit, but you know what? I run a 12 crit deck. He was salty because he did everything right except guard no pass in the Vanguard swing. Just for the mere fact he watched me damage check 2 criticals the previous turn and didn't count on me getting any more triggers. You could go either way on the reasoning on that one, but it was a tough fight nonetheless, and he was a very great opponent. My last match was against Stan Minerva again. And not Stan, sorry, Crit Minerva. Crit Minerva. And it was painful. We went back and forth. Went to game 3. Game 1 was so long. Let me just say this. Game 1 was so long, I thought by the end of game 1, we were in game 2 and I'd lost game 1. Because if you ever play the deck, you know, you learn it. Grind games. When everybody else runs out of steam and they're in top deck mode is when this deck starts to shine. Because beyond the quintet, I don't need counterblasts. After I ride a grade 3, I kind of just beat face. But I managed to push out the shield out of my opponent's hand. Came down to it, and yeah, I managed to push out the shield. Tough fights all around. What do I attribute my wins to? For one thing, being unexpected. Now, I've been playing this deck for about a month and a half now, as I've been putting the pieces together little by little. And my first build of the deck did not have a completed grade 3 lineup. I was teching the power breaker. As I've finished out the deck, it's gotten better and better and better. Improvements would just be, you know, what I did, where I put it back to 4/4 on my grade 3 lineup. And also, Unlock Unit gave me an answer to Chaos Breaker. Also, just I hit big numbers, and I build a field where when I check a trigger, it applies pressure. That being said, this has been my tournament report. Sorry if it's a little bit lengthy. Just letting you know, we're going to have a lot more content coming out of Team Horizon. So this is Negamuzu signing out.